Week 19 of the fantasy baseball season already, and here's a few pitchers I look to add for the stretch run this week. The first guy, Gavin Williams of the Cleveland Guardians. Up about a month and a half, 2 months ago. He got off to a slow start, but the last few outings, he's really kicking into gear, and he's a top prospect for a reason in this Guardian system. So on the season, 54 and 2/3, 1-3 record, 59 Ks, a 2.80 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. But over the last couple weeks here, 17 innings, 0-1 record, 28 Ks, a 1.59 ERA, an 0.88 WHIP, and a quality start. So right now, Gavin Williams, he's looked good, no doubt about it. He's Williams over the last few weeks here for this Cleveland Guardian team, and he's definitely a player that's going out there and making the most of his opportunity coming up midseason, especially with the injuries to McKenzie in the pitching rotation and Shane Bieber. So right now, he's pitched good baseball, still out there surprisingly in 56% of leagues. And the last few games he's held his own. August 1st to Houston, 5 innings, got the loss. 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 6 Ks. August 7th versus Toronto, 7 innings in that one. Gave up a hit, a walk, 12 Ks, a quality start. And August 12th to Tampa Bay, 5 innings, 5 hits, a run, 10 Ks in that one. So right now, the only thing, he's not going deep into games, but the K rates are way up there. 28 strikeouts the last 3 games here for Gavin Williams, and it's not like it's pushover teams he went out there versus and pitched well against, but he's not going to get run support, and he's not going to get quality starts. But in terms of ERA, strikeouts, and upside, especially in points leagues here, Gavin Williams, he's definitely legit, I think, and definitely a pitcher to pick up this week. This pitcher is Emerson Hancock of the Seattle Mariners. So Hancock, one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball, and obviously he made his season debut last week versus the San Diego Padres. It's a pretty solid lineup, obviously with talented hitters like Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Juan Soto. So he's gone out there, first Major League outing, 5 innings versus the Padres, 2 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 Ks. So right now, Hancock, he's going to get an opportunity. Brian Wu, he's on the injury list, even though it shouldn't be that long of a stint here that Wu's going to be out. But Hancock, even if Wu comes back, I believe this Mariners team, where obviously they're out of the playoff hunt, they're just going to keep going with the young guys, and obviously he's their top prospect in the minor league. Good minor league season this year is Hancock, and right now he's got a good outing coming up at the Kansas City Royals tomorrow in Kansas City, which obviously is a tough hitter's park. And the Royals, they're another team that's way out of it and one of the worst teams in the league with not a lot of hitting. So I think Hancock will see even more out of him in his next outing. And it's very surprising to me he's out there in 89% of fantasy leagues. Like I said, one of the top pitching prospects in Major League Baseball, and the top pitching prospects supposedly in that Seattle Mariners system. So right now, go out there and get Hancock this week. The next guy is Hyun-Shin Ryu of the Toronto Blue Jays. So we know Ryu, he's coming off a major injury, but so far he's looked good in the early going since his return. 14 innings, 1-1 record, 8 strikeouts, a 3 ERA, and a 1.18 WHIP in the time here for Ryu in his return. So right now, Ryu available in 75% of fantasy leagues, and fantasy owners definitely should go out there and get him. He's going to get a lot of run support from this Toronto Blue Jay offense, one of the best offenses in the league. And I know he's working his way back from a major injury, obviously, is Ryu, but right now he's starting to stretch out a little bit, at least going 5 innings, 2 out of the first 3 outings of the season for him. August 1st versus Baltimore, 5 innings, got the loss, 9 hits, 4 runs, a walk, 3 Ks. August 7th at the Guardians, 4 innings in that one, no hits, no runs, a walk, 2 Ks. And August 13th versus the Cubs, 5 innings, got the win in yesterday's game, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. So right now in the last 2 outings, he hasn't given up a run as Ryu. Obviously, he's got a main spot in that rotation. Alek Manoah, he got sent back down to the minor league, so he's probably not going to be up for the remainder of the season here. And we know Ryu, he had a good career with the Dodgers. Obviously, he's not going to be at the same level coming off a Tommy John surgery, but he's still a pitcher that can help fantasy owners. And so far, even though it's a small sample size and he's only got 14 innings under his belt this season, he's definitely a pitcher I think can help fantasy owners, and especially in deeper leagues. In the stretch run, the next pitcher, Ranger Suarez of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Ranger Suarez, it's been an up and down type of year, but I like Suarez's upside. I like the way he attacks the strike zone, and he plays for a good solid team like the Phillies, obviously. That's going to get him run support, and they're most likely going to make the playoffs once again this season. So on the year here for Suarez, 97 and a third. 2-6 record. I know not a good win-loss record. 89 strikeouts though, a 3.90 ERA, and a 1.40 whip with 9 quality starts on the season. So the win-loss record's the only problem pretty much here for Suarez, and that he don't average a strikeout per inning, but everything else has been pretty solid for him. Available right now in tons of fantasy leagues, still at 66%. And the last couple weeks, he's been pretty solid as well. Is Suarez in the times, 18 and a third, 0-1 record, 16 strikeouts, a 2.65 ERA, a 1.70 whip, and 2 quality starts in the time. So right now, this Philly team, they've been operating well since the MLB trade deadline. Suarez, he's going out there, and he's giving his team a chance every 5th day to go out there and win ball games. But right now, it just hasn't been all that great in terms of getting the victories. But in terms of going deep into ball games, giving them innings and pitching well for fantasy owners, he's definitely brought that. Is Suarez, August 1st at the Marlins, 6 and a third, 10 hits though, a run, 2 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. August 8th versus the Nats, 5 2/3, no decision, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. And August 13th versus the Twins, 6 1/3, got the loss, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks, a quality start. So he's a solid starter. I believe he is Ranger Suarez. And they play in a division in the NL East besides them and the Atlanta Braves. The Marlins hitting's been hit or miss. The New York Mets, they're rebuilding, one of the worst teams in the league right now here in the second half. And obviously Washington Nationals trying to build a roster here, but they're hitting one of the worst hitting teams in the league as well. So with matchups coming up versus those teams in the next couple weeks here, I think Ranger Suarez, he's definitely a player that can help fantasy owners. And like I said, he's out there in tons of leagues. It's 66%. And owners should go out there and get him this week. He'll help in ERA. He'll be pretty decent in strikeouts. The only thing is obviously the win-loss record won't be that great for him. The next pitcher I looked at off the wire this week here, so of the Los Angeles Angels, so one of the top ads of last week at the pitching position. And he just has electric stuff here, Silseth. And he goes out there, he's going to get that ball by you. He's got over a strikeout per inning right now for this Angel team. And he's not really giving up runs as well over the last few weeks. 41 and a third, 4-1 record, 46 strikeouts, a 3.60 ERA, 1.20 whip, and a quality start on the season. So right now he's going out there. He's getting that opportunity. I know Griffin Cannon just came off the injured list here for this Los Angeles Angel team, but I don't think Silseth's in any harm of losing his rotation spot, even though he's probably on an innings limit here as the rookie. So the last few games here for Silseth, starting August 6 versus Seattle, 7 innings in that one, no decision, 4 hits, 2 runs, and walk, 12 Ks, a quality start. And August 13th at the Astros, 5 innings, got the win. 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, so the upside is great. Strikeout rate is great. I know this Angel team hasn't been great since the trade deadline, really free-flowing, but right now he's going out there, and he's going to be a future part of this rotation, especially next season, as Sil said. So right now, while you have an early opportunity to get him this year, especially in keeper and dynasty leagues, if he's still out there in your leagues, which he is, still available in 62% of leagues, this is the time to go get him. He's pitching well. He's getting a chance over here for Los Angeles. And right now that they're dwindling out of the race, they might as well go with the younger guys in the rotation and see what they got. So Silseth, I think he's here to stay, even with Cannon coming off the injured list. And he's got good stuff so far in the early going, so he's a pickup this week. The next pitcher is Clarke Schmidt of the New York Yankees. So Clarke Schmidt, it's been an up-and-down season here for him, but he's remained in this Yankee rotation now, especially with Domingo Germán out for the season with the off-the-field problems. He's going to be away from the team, and Clarke Schmidt's going to get the opportunity the remainder of the year. On the season, 115 innings, 8-6 record, 110 Ks, a 4.23 ERA, 1.29 whip, and 3 quality starts. And over the last month of the season, very solid for Schmidt, even though this Yankee team's in trouble of not making the playoffs. 27 innings, 4-0 record, 23 Ks, a 3.67 ERA, an 0.96 whip, and a quality start. So he's going out there every 5th day for this New York Yankee team. And he's pitching good baseball here, Clarke Schmidt. So he's definitely a pitcher fantasy owners should go out there and get right now when he's under-owned. In my opinion, available in 69% of leagues. August 3rd versus Houston, 5 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 4 Ks. August 8th at the White Sox in that one, 5 1/3, got the win. 4 hits, a run, a walk, 7 Ks. And this next outing is definitely a tough one here today at the Atlanta Braves. But he is a 2-start starter this week. Here's Clarke Schmidt. decent pitching is hard to find, especially this time of the year with a few weeks left in head-to-head leagues before the playoffs, where everyone's trying to stock up for the stretch run and rotisserie leagues as well. So right now, even with the tough matchup, but he is a 2-start starter this week, and maybe this Yankee offense could get going and wake up behind him. I would give Clark Schmidt an ad this week. The next pitcher I look to add off the wire this week here is Grayson Rodriguez of the Baltimore Orioles. So Rodriguez, he got called up a few weeks ago back into the major leagues, and his first outing wasn't great back, but now he settled himself in, and we know he was a top prospect in all Major League Baseball at the pitching position for a reason. So right now, still available, surprisingly, is Rodriguez. In 47% of leagues, I would give him an ad this week on the year. 74 innings, 2-3 record, 80 Ks, a 5.84 ERA, a 1.49 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. I know overall the numbers aren't great, but the last month since he returned, 28 2/3, 0-1 record, 24 Ks, a 3.45 ERA, a 1.08 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So right now he's got electric stuff. His next outing is here tonight at the San Diego Padres, where their hitting's been hit or miss, even though they obviously have all those sluggers and good hitters in the lineup. But with the upside with Rodriguez and him on a winning ball club like the Baltimore Orioles, he should be owned in at least 65% of fantasy leagues or more. So right now, if he's out there in your league, definitely go out there and pick him up. July 28th versus the Yankees, 6 1/3, no decision. 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. August 2nd at the Jays, 5 2/3, got the loss. 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. And August 8th versus the Astros, 6 innings in that one. No decision, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, and a quality start. So right now, he's gone out there. His strikeouts have gone down a little bit, is Rodriguez, but he's pitching more instead of just trying to blow the ball by hitters every at-bat, which is a good strategy, obviously. You don't want to blow the arm out. You want to save some for later innings in reserve. And that's especially what Rodriguez is doing. He's learning how to pitch right now for this team, where in the minor leagues, he was just overpowering players. That's how good he is. And right now, if he gets it all together, next season definitely could be a big year for Rodriguez. But even here at the stretch run of the season, he's definitely a good pickup this week. And Curdy of the Houston Astros, Curdy, he just came off the injury list a few weeks ago. And right now, this Astro team, they're kicking it into gear and trying to make a run and win another World Series. So on the season, in the short sample size for you, Curdy, 36 innings, 2-3 record, 31 strikeouts, a 5.80 ERA, and a 1.30 WHIP with 1 quality start on the season. So right now, Curdy, he's out there in tons of fantasy leagues at 61%. And he was solid last season as the 4th or 5th starter for this Houston Astros team. And we know they have major injuries this year with Luis Garcia. He's obviously out for the season. And Lance McCullers, and they traded for Justin Verlander back at the deadline. So in the first 2 outings since he returned, August 6th at the Yankees, 3 1/3. No decision in that one. 3 hits, 5 runs in that ball game. 3 walks, a K. And then August 13th in yesterday's game, he pitched a decent 5 innings, got the loss though. 3 hits, a run, 7 Ks. So right now he's getting his legs under him as Curdy. It's going to take him a little bit, but like I said, I like the upside. He was solid last season for this Astro team. And now every second half of the season, this Astro team, they start to take off and start to click. So right now with the Astros starting to score runs and Curdy trying to get back into the thick of things here for this Astro team, I think he can help fantasy owners as a back-end rotation piece and a guy who has decent upside to get a few victories, obviously, with this Astro team. So I would give him an ad this week. The next pitcher, Bobby Miller of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So right now, Bobby Miller, so far in his rookie season, he's been pretty solid, and he's one of their top prospects for a reason. On the year, 69 1/3, 6 2 record, 66 Ks, a 3.89 ERA, a 1.24 WHIP, and 5 quality starts in the last couple weeks. For Miller, he's pretty much been unhittable. 9 2/3, 0-0 record, 7 Ks, and 0.93 ERA, a 1.55 WHIP, and a quality start. So right now, Miller obviously on one of the best teams in all the major leagues here for this Los Angeles Dodger team. And he's stuck in the rotation, even with the trades at the deadline. Getting Yarborough, obviously, at the deadline was this Los Angeles Dodger team and Lance Lynn. But right now, he's staying in the rotation. He possibly could be on an innings limit, but he's pitching good baseball. And he's available in 48% of fantasy leagues. So the last few games here for Miller, July 28th versus the Reds, 5 innings, got the loss. 6 hits, 3 runs, 6 Ks. Only 3 1/3 in that one. 6 hits, a run, a walk, 3 Ks. And then August 9th, 6 innings, no decision, 4 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. So Bobby Miller, it's been up and down over the last few weeks, but he's not really giving up runs. Walks have been an issue more than anything for him, and his next outing's tomorrow versus a pretty solid Milwaukee Brewer offense. But I think he could go out there and pitch good baseball. He's got good upside. He's going to get the run support, obviously, from this Los Angeles Dodger team. And this Dodger team, they've won the last 3 out of 4 ball games. That Bobby Miller's pitch was another good sign. So right now, while Miller's been up and down a little bit, but the upside is there, and the team is there to back him as a guy who can win ball games and be good for fantasy baseball. He's definitely a pitcher I looked at this week in the final pitcher. I looked at Steven Matz of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Steven Matz, the first 2 months of the season, he was one of the worst pitchers in the league and got sent to the bullpen. But all of a sudden, he's totally turned things around, and he's been one of the best pitchers over the last couple months here on the season. 405 innings, 4-7 record, 98 Ks, a 3.86 ERA, a 1.33 whip, and 4 quality starts. But the last month, 33 in the third, 4-0 record, 29 Ks, a 2.16 ERA, 0.96 whip, and 4 quality starts. So Steven Matz, it looked like pretty much he was a player on the verge of getting designated for assignment some part of the year, or even just getting traded away for a no-name and the Cardinals picking up half the salary or whatever. But he's really picked things up over the last few months here, Steven Matz, and he's gone out there, like I said, and he's been one of the top pitchers in fantasy baseball in the time. So the last few outings, July 30th versus the Cubs, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, no runs, 2 Ks, a quality start. August 5th versus the Rockies, 6 innings, got the win. 5 hits, a run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. And August 12th at Kansas City, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 Ks, a quality start. Have 100% confidence in Steven Matz, but he's going out there, he's getting the job done. I know the last 2 outings have been versus weak hitting teams in the Rockies and the Kansas City Royals, but even before that versus pretty solid teams, he's been pitching good baseball. But other fantasy owners are wary of it as well, only own the 51% of leagues. But right now, he's pitching good baseball. You just got to go with the flow, I believe, here with Steven Matz. Still available in 49% of fantasy leagues. We know this Cardinal team's not going anywhere this year. One of the worst teams in the National League, and they sold off at the deadline. But right now, while Matz is pitching good and going out there every 5th day and giving quality starts, you just pick him up. And obviously, if he struggles and the wheels fall off, you just drop him. So that's a few pitchers I look to add here. Obviously, with the playoffs coming up in the head-to-head leagues and the season coming down to an end in the next few weeks for Week 19 of the fantasy baseball season.